So men and women that wanted to train, that wanted to be skilled, are you saying we have any excuse in this day and age to refuse a child that wants to train a place in a university? I think that is balmy. The animals train and look after their own much more than we are prepared to sacrifice and look after our young men and women. We cannot blame them for drifting into crime and mischief if we have not engaged them, if we have not given them the entitlement that I believe every child has now. I believe education is a birthright of any child. Because if you don't develop the mind, you have completely ruined the human being. So if the mental development is somehow retarded because of financial constraint, which I would call artificial, because we spend close to 23 billion pounds on the war every day. So if we are going to spend money on the war and we haven't spent money looking after our children, then we are not able to spell the war priority. We haven't been able to understand the concept of priority. We haven't been able to look and say, what is going to happen to the generation after this? What's going to happen to the future? We've imposed tuition fee, and now we're going to restrict the number of places. Soon we'll start restricting the number of courses they are going to read or they can study. And then we still say we want to be in a competitive position against countries like India, against China, and against all the advancing Asian countries. We can't compete with them because those ones invest a lot more proportion of their GDP in education than we have ever thought of. So we're paying lip service to education, and until we wake up and recognize the fact that the future only belongs to the educated and the skilled and the trained, then we will not be able to recover from our lost position in the economic dominance. We used to be a global empire. We have lost our position, and we still haven't done an impact analysis to understand why we are losing our rightful position in the family of nations.
Is the effect of this strike going to have any impact at all on the political parties?
It'd be doubtful because it got very little media coverage because of the hoo-ha about elections and swing states and what's going to happen to marginal growth. So the publicity that it would have really attracted is denied them because of other competing news items. But quite seriously, I think the government should listen to what they are saying, because the lecturers are not on strike in their own primary interest. The lecturers are on strike in the interest of the whole nation. And the lecturers are being forced to go on strike because they have seen that the budget is being gradually eroded. And if you erode the budget, the facilities are going to be eroded, the resources will be eroded, and the number of spaces will be eroded. So when the results are out in August for the A-level results, then they will have to turn back more students than ever before. We already have that. We already have that problem of turning down students. We mustn't be allowed to turn down students for any reason.
Again, okay, now talking about the educational system, the confusion over SATs is actually still on. Now, you have served on various boards for schools and colleges. What is the confusion all about? Okay,
now the head teachers believe somehow that a child that has had full-time education from the ages of 6 up to 11 should not be assessed at all, should just be allowed to proceed on to secondary school. The government takes a totally different view. The government initially said at the end of primary education, at the age of 10, 11, every child should be assessed in maths, in English, and in science. And the teachers were, the teaching union that was hijacked by a very militant wing came against that, and the government compromised and said, okay, we're going to drop off science, which is crazy, really. I don't know why we want to compromise on our students' understanding of the scientific processes when we know we are living in a technological age. We're not living in the Stone Age, we're living in a technological age. Okay, that's fine. That was a compromise. I thought the teachers were going to respond, or the head teachers were going to respond by saying, yes, we'll administer it. Now the head teachers have come and say they're going on strike. But it is illegal. It's a statutory requirement for schools to assess their students and come up with outcome. So the governors will now have to step up to the occasion because the exam papers have already been printed. They've already been sent to the various schools. We're saying in another week, when the children are supposed to be writing the exam, the head teachers will go to refuse to open the envelopes and give the papers to the students. So the government is now saying that the governors and every single person serving on the school board ought to reappoint or get an acting head teacher that will administer the test. If they don't, then they've in the wrong. Now they're failing in